pressure to perform. It's their last opportunity. It's a must-win match. Wildcard are kind of just trying to set a bit of a platform for tomorrow. A loss not devastating. A win would be helpful to have a bit more of a cushion.
But not that rewarding, and not as much as if Wildcard had have played their extended mag. They have not. They still have it available for tomorrow. And that's the kind of crazy thing that we kind of want to touch on very briefly as we get into this match, is Wildcard, if they win, they will go to 13 points. 2 for their reloaded magazine, and then, of course, 1 extra for eliminating SSG. But we kind of worked out the numbers. If they had have played their extended mag, which would have given them an extra 6 bullets, that would have been, 8 plus 10, 18 plus 1 for eliminating would have been 19. Well, you know who's already qualified on 19? It's CAG. Who's got a better round differential? It's Wildcard. There is a world in which if Wildcard had won this game, they could have actually qualified today, but by playing it safe, they cannot qualify today.
I mean, it should be noted, of course, that the bullets and the cards are not played in reflection to the games before. It's
It's all set at the start of the day.
Exactly. You go blind. You can't just see the games that are early in the day and gain an advantage in that sense. So maybe there was an element of Wildcard being a little bit more conservative.
No, absolutely. And I'm just bringing it to notion in just kind of context of everything that's been happening today, is that, Wildcard, had they done it, that's what could have been the result. And again, that just comes down to that risk versus reward, because if they had played it today, yes, they maybe could have qualified, but then you lose this game, you go into day 5, you don't have it. So at the very least for Wildcard, they're just kind of playing it safe. For SSG, they can get up to a total of 10 bullets at the conclusion of this match if they do end up winning it. And again, they do not have their extended mag. They went all in yesterday against VRX, lost that, had to win the 1v1. That's why they're on 2 bullets. And we head into Nighthaven Labs, our final match of the day for the B stream. Don't fret, though, of course, there's 2 matches still to be played out on the A stream, so lots more Siege action for today. SSG attacking into Labs, which 35% attacking win rate team, playing into Labs. I'm not expecting a whole lot from SSG in this particular half, but with Wildcard's low attacking win rate, I'm expecting this to be incredibly defender-sided both sides of the coin. This could even be an OT game.
Yeah, 53 rounds of Labs thus far at the event, 43% in favor of attack. Certainly not the most defender-sided on the board. Trades early, 4v4. Bay, though, to get things on top as J90 responds. So a couple of isolated fights above, below 3v3. There's another one to your right, Bay, I think. Okay, I'm maybe misreading the outlines there. Certainly not the case. Okay, getting a little bit ahead of myself.
Well, intriguingly enough, it's Newers and J90, the top performing players for SSG, still up, plus Ashen, as I said kind of in our little pre-match discussion. And if he can start to rise here, that could be a huge addition, a huge boon for these 2 players that are still up. Bay, Spiker, Dash very low. Kind of goes back to what I was also saying in the pre-match discussion. Bay and Spiker on the lower side. It's Kansan, Dash, and Baby Shark who have been performing incredibly well for Wildcard at this event. They are out of it for this round. Still lots of time to be played, because that was a rather swift entry from SSG, which has probably netted them a small win. Dash is low. You disrupt the defense. You deal with the Warden. And you got smokes and flashes as well, so now those will not be anywhere near as hindered. J90 collects the diffuser, has a little peek as well for good measure. And a little stalemate does brew here in the middle portion of round 1.
Good value from Twitch. Allows the lurk now with a couple of those Fenrir mines dealt with. Play it down, that's Dash. Spike the last one up. Responds, though.
Did Dash get downed by the shock drone? I didn't see it on the top down to my left here, but I just noticed he was down and I didn't hear anything else. Confirmed, he did get taken down by the shock drone. So Spiker in a 1 versus 1 with Ashen. Still 50 seconds remaining. And Spiker's going to go for the revive onto Dash, so he will be brought back up.
Ooh,
Ashen makes his way straight through the smoke, though. Wanted to try and capitalize on that opportunity, but a little too slow on the rush, and now spots him. Over towards server is Spiker. Has the higher HP in comparison to Dash, and Spiker swings, wins. A strange old round. Not often you see someone downed by a shock drone, but hey, we'll take it. If you wildcard, you still win the round. And I imagine this could very well be the kind of game we hear some solid trash talk.
I'd be disappointed if we didn't. Yeah, certainly not every day of the week you see a Twitch down in the big old 2025. Nice attempt there from Ashen, but unable to get that one across the line. Spike at a whole pillar. Well played. There was that drop down rotating. He did peek before that trade opportunity would have arisen from top blue, but didn't miss his shot. Diffuser in an awkward position there from SSG. Early tempo of the round was intriguing. 2 separate fights, 2 trades immediately, so both teams pretty switched on to kick things off. Tertiary site immediately in play as we kick things off here. Over towards control and cargo. Intrigued to see the dynamic between these two. Probably have a decent read of one another. Probably been a decent amount of scoring locally, I would imagine.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Big attacker switch here from SSG, bringing
massive
the blitz
change
into
up.
the foray.
5 seconds remaining.
Ashing onto the blitz.
Attacker's objective is to locate.
Would have been a really good start though for SSG to take top floor here on Nighthaven Labs. Get that early attacking round, take out one of the primary sites, but not to be. Was close. It's all about that mental state though as well for a team that's facing elimination. You know, SSG have kind of got that more pressure on their shoulders in comparison to Wildcard. Don't have as much to lose, don't have as much to gain, a little bit more freedom in that.
Yeah, control storage and intriguing site. A couple of different approaches are available. Can go rather direct with the blitz. Can also use that for a bit of a map clear, vert down. The retake is quite challenging for defense if you are able to maintain that control. Hard breach initially up top from Fault. Can be used to flush out IT. Currently the 2-3 split from defense, so Bay and Baby Shark up above.
Oh, big kill onto Newers. Taking out the top player for SSG this early into the round certainly helps out the defense. Bay aggressive towards Rafters. Expecting one, maybe main breach, but J90 will hold the doorway. What a shot though on the angle from Bay to hit that headshot. Lurking though on the Nook is Benja, and he finds another one onto Spiker. Makes it a 3v3. Oh, that's an opportunity. Fulls. Well, fortunate to be alive. So that certainly was a good opportunity for Bay. Benja caught in the back, shot out by Baby Shark, and almost a chance to take out Ashen. Or to take out Faults, I should say. Ashen, over towards first floor. Needs to get involved on the blitz, but he got caught in the back.
We're
and
still
now
playing.
makes it a 1v3. We are still playing, we are still alive, and unfortunately production doesn't have much hope for Faults.
I mean, probably not the worst pre-fire on the transition I've ever seen.
It would be quite funny if Faults ends up winning this now.
He's not winning this.
Faults is
I'll be
so
on the next
low.
flight home if Faults wins
Oh,
this.
be careful. You've already made one incorrect call earlier, but Kansan saves you the trip. Wildcard, 2-0 start.
Yeah, losing Newers there really hurting the attack. I was keeping a keen eye on the players in the grave for Wildcard, and they were flicking a wealth of information from BPCs, but more importantly, Vault cameras. And
Wow, that's an early tactical timeout by Spacestation Gaming. I've seen enough after the opening 2 rounds. Can hear the next team's getting ready in the background. I believe we've got, I think it's Fnatic versus FaZe over on the A stream,
okay,
which Fnatic have gone all in.
what was their bullet count? Though, heading
6.
into that? I mean, you've kind of got to at that point.
Yeah,
right?
you've got to.
Otherwise, you could be at risk of being in the bottom 4.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, maybe not, actually. But it'd be awkward to get back up for day 5. Yeah, I mean, in that previous round again, IQ off the board, Volk bolstered. Benja did get value from Nook and being able to lurk around and maybe skirt some of that info gathering, but eventually caught a bad timing, take it down. Rest of the team on defense for Wildcard, able to clean up. Yeah, early attack from SSG. Looking to refocus. Probably a couple of things that Redeemer's seen that he hasn't been too much of a fan of.
So we head to basement for the 3rd round. Final round before the next bands come through. Yeah, and
I don't know why I
again,
said, oh, wait,
to be honest,
call out, not Redeemer.
we're expecting this to be defend-decided. So, I mean, Wildcard getting these rounds early on isn't really changing the complexion of this match all that much. It's really up to SSG. It's still 2. 1 at minimum, but 2 is really the goal. That's the target. So I think the early tactical timeout is fine because this is the half that you really need to get those rounds 1 on the attack. Set yourself up nicely, go into the second half, and then try and get a good roll going. Ashen onto the Blackbeard. I like the Dockerby here as well, expecting that roam from Wildcard. Saw it employed in the previous round. We'll do so once again here with Basement. You want to definitely contest up above, hold some lurk positions and angles, make it difficult for the attack to kind of sweep through the map.
So somewhat of a roam employed from Wildcard, and it's already been broken down. So improvement for SSG. Newers gets himself in on the action, finds his first for the map.
Yeah, and first time SSG finally been able to get an opening kill. Third attempt, and third time's the charm. Gets Nuas on the board as well. That's what you want.
Still a roam in play, though.
Yeah, base top floor.
And with 5 attackers up, they can't be overly reliant on sitting drones, of course, so...
Oh, here we go. Oh, never mind. Bay opts to push back. Benjamaster is close by in electrical. Thought maybe there was an opportunity for Bay to catch him off guard. Benja, though, the way he's positioned, is almost expecting this roam to come through electrical. Oh, a chance through the floorboards for Nuas. Through the hatch.
That's a nasty angle.
Through the floorboards. And gets a bit of damage onto Dash. Benja still over towards electrical, by the way. Is Bay just circling over towards command. Ashen taking incredibly low on the Blackbeard is not ideal, though, if you want him to be your front man later in the round. And the Logic Bomb just pushes Bay back from that roam on the defense and into the arms of Benja, who was waiting oh so patiently for like the last 30-40 seconds and finally nets his reward, which is that kill onto the roaming Bay. Do lose Benja, but so far SSG are up here in the third round. Need to get this one, need to capitalize.
Well, Kansan could go big here. Has the fall-off option as well. Warehouse hatch is open. Really just depends how far forward he wants to push. And Jane, I know, has he spotted? Has he heard Kansan on that drone?
Yeah, watching the flank drone, 40 seconds left. Wildcard will start to anticipate that SSG need to make their way downstairs towards the site in basement, of which still Kansan in storage could provide an avenue on the flank later in the round. Nitrocell thrown out, but it's not going to be able to hit anything. At least nothing of value. Gotta remember, Ashen's still very low. A little shot to the toe will dismantle that Blackbeard. Kansan from above.
Ooh, I like
They've
this.
lost Dash, and so suddenly the on-site presence now is weakened. J9O looking to deal with Kansan over towards storage, and Ashen can get the plant down inside of assembly, leaving only Kansan remaining. And he will fall at the hands of J9O. Solid win for SSG. And Ashen just letting them know.
Oh, was that Ashen? I've come to forget what his voice sounds like because I feel like every time we've casted him at this event, he's been a little quieter than usual. But a better response there from SSG. Loved the temperament from Benja top floor and catching Bay. And then the push above from J9O towards the late round in order to consolidate that round and not give Kansan an opportunity to clutch up on the vert. So some good reads, good calls. Pretty patient. Again, mid to late round was great. The drone work was really good in identifying where a couple of those loose roamers were at, and had the systems in place to deal with that. Top floor in play then. Round number 4. Additional bands in play. Fenrir Thermite. And that does mean triple hard breach off the board. SSG to deal with that. Habana in play. Secondary hard breach still available on multiple operators though in metal.
Yeah, but this is going to be difficult to open up when you've still got the Kaid available. And Bandit if you really want to. Already on a map that's very difficult for attacking teams. Now even more difficult for Wildcard. 3 hard breaches. Sorry, for SSG. 3 hard breaches not available. They will of course bring the Habana. And they'll have to deal with the Kaid Electric Claw. The old manual way. They don't opt to bring the Thatcher. Got mute jammers as well for what it's worth. So far a solid start to this match. Again, all on the line for SSG. You lose, you're out. For Wildcard, yeah, maybe it's a low risk, low reward factor, but I think they'd also take a little bit of pride in knocking SSG out of this tournament.
So, how do SSG go about breaking down the IT wall? Triple hard breach in play. It may be a little compromised on this particular occasion. Impact Emps in the pocket of J9O. Faults on that primary hard breach.
Yeah, I mean, secondary Emps available. X-Kairos go out. And so far, they're working with this pretty comfortably.
Oh no.
Oh no, never mind. I've gone too soon. It has activated once again, and so...
And no Impact Emps
now
now
you're
in
going to have
play.
to do it the manual way. Now you're going to take down below and clear it from below.
Yeah, they have the drone to facilitate that, so Asher can call it clear. Perhaps he'll be the one tasked with the clear. itself. Maybe Vert elsewhere. We'll wait and see. But not the best of starts for SSG. Could also like blue.
Second floor.
To be fair, Wildcard aren't really contesting down below, so it should be pretty easy.
I mean, it looks like a full pivot. I think IT Wall might just be completely off the cards now. They'll go to their backup plan.
Still over a minute remaining. Don't have to kind of rush this, though.
Freak in here.
But you know what? I don't mind a con meeting side here. I feel like more teams should do it. And so far, that's what SSG are going to have to do. Dash double kill. Nitrocell, though, on defaults, and J90 shuts that push down. Benja will make his way in, hoping to catch someone through con. And it doesn't work so far. Ashen will fall elsewhere on the buck. Noahs has slipped in towards Electrical. They're just praying that maybe they can find a couple of kills, but no. Only the one, and it's 4 for Dash now in this round. And he gonna find himself the ace? No, Noahs will shut that down, but it's Wildcard that are gonna be the real winners in this round and should look to make this a 3-1 start against SSG.
Double stack IT nets the final pick. Massive from Dash in that round. Groundwork was an issue for SSG, struggling to open up that exterior wall. They put the backup plan into action. But the pivot from Wildcard on point. Massive Nitro, able to Rio off con. Fallback was pretty safe for the most part. A team that continues to look confident here in Rio. And SSG now a little bit stunned. Attack half though. We know rounds can come at a premium, so very much an opportunity to at least claim a second and keep the match competitive.
I mean, at the end of the day, they've got 2 opportunities to get 1. That's the way you're going to look at it if you're SSG. And with command server now done, you don't have to worry as much regarding the loss of your hard breaches. That's the one site that's really affected by the target bans here for Wildcard. So in reality, that's kind of the one that Wildcard have said, we really want to win that site. We're going to make it very difficult for you to win that
10
site.
seconds remaining.
And now it comes down to that roam game again, deployed by Wildcard. Saw it earlier in the half. But to mixed results, kind of a 1-1 in that little battle. Round 2, of course, Bay was very strong over towards Rafters and was able to win the roam for Wildcard. But then in the 3rd round, SSG had a really good clear.
Well, Newers has been a shining light for SSG. He needs to continue to keep the ball rolling here and offer some...
Yeah, but it shouldn't
Fragile.
just be down to Newers.
No, it shouldn't, but...
Reloading.
5 death marks available for faults early in the piece, so good drone work early from SSG.
Going live.
Some early horizontal pressure as well on offer from Benja through cafeteria.
Hard breach.
Yeah, double stack up top though for Wildcard. So, I mean, SSG really do need to roam clear properly. Otherwise, if they try and half-arse it, they're going to get punished later in the round. And then you got lurk positions as well, like storage and cargo. I mean, Wildcard are really utilizing the vast majority of this map right now on the defense. And SSG are going to probably have a little bit of influence here from Fultz on with those death marks, like you said. He needs to be the one to help really clear out a lot of these roamers. J90 as well on the Dockerbee with the logic bombs. And Ashen as well on the Blackbeard to kind of go through a lot of these doorways and clear out positions on the Blackbeard. So it's a full team effort this round for SSG. 5 options, 5 targets with the death mark and opting to put it onto the Zami of Bay. He'll drop Rafters and look to make his way maybe back towards the site. The logic bomb will ring as well. But it's Baby Shark. I mean, despite the pressure there from SSG, well use of the death mark and the logic bomb, but it's Wildcard to get the opening pick. And not for the first time either. 4 of the 5 rounds now. It's Wildcard that have been able to find these opening engagements.
Double nade bot blue, and that ground can now be chipped away at by SSG. Vertical control now in their hands, but finding picks and finding pressure from these positions may pose
They still
challenge.
haven't cleared Spiker though out of storage, and never mind, I literally just called it and he's dropped.
Kansas down below as well, so he'll double stack with Bay. It has been cut off by SSG.
Baby Shark does actually hold it in storage, low on health. Ashen thinking about entry, 40 seconds left, and SSG need to pick up their pacing.
Not going to be fun with Legion on the board.
No, absolutely not. Can't step on that Goo Mine whatsoever, and Dash with a really well-timed swing down the corridor, and SSG never looked likely in this 5th round. Flawless. Well, I don't need to translate that. What are you guys doing? I did it anyway. To be fair, well, I mean, like...
Wait, was that was from our stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we saw the early horizontal pressure from Benja. We saw decent groundwork, hard bridge, top floor. Didn't really translate into whole much, mainly due to strong rotate and peel from Wildcard. They were happy to drop down. They weren't afraid to experiment on the bot floor a little bit as well, and just continue to be difficult to cut off. And by the time SSG had fallen off to then maybe cut off positions from down below, Wildcard didn't present those opportunities. They weren't under a ton of pressure to force rotation. It left a warehouse stack, really one of the last few options and win cons available, and Dash was clued in on that. And the spray down made it very much an impossible round from there for SSG.
Well, this is the big round now.
Yeah.
You don't want to go 5-1 down, facing elimination, having to be essentially flawless on your own defensive, which is certainly a capability for SSG, but it just adds that extra layer of pressure that you certainly don't want already in an elimination game.
Attackers must locate.
Did you have SSG in your final 8?
I did not.
I did. Another
But I had Liquid.
Another potentially poor selection.
I had Liquid.
Okay.
And to be fair, had they won today, they would have been in there, but...
Yeah.
And that was the funny nature of that game for Team Liquid against CAG, was whoever kind of won that gets top 4, qualifies. But if Liquid had lost, then obviously, as they did, they are eliminated. So far, it's been a really good showing from Wildcard, not really to any surprise. They are 3rd best rated at the tournament for defense, and they're playing on one of the stronger defensive sided maps in Nighthaven Labs. That's all kind of going to script.
Bolt loaded.
Volts unable to really have impact in this match so far. 0-4 maybe can do something with those Capital bolts.
Well, the flames are early, so SSG need to get value from this.
Well, he is early, though. He is very early into Animus already. Does have the diffuser for what it's worth, and now making the move, but it's top floor. It's Ashen, and Volts is dead.
Huh?
Solo push with the Capital, Kit on the floor, and indeed, and a chance surely for Ashen to confirm this kill onto the Vigil in Baby Shark, and they will get top floor, but it's the Kit that's in a bad spot towards Animus.
Dash is on the prowl as well. SSG need to be very,
It's a very
cautious.
disjointed attack from SSG, but it's somehow working.
Well, they've got to restrict Dash here.
They've got to get this kill, and J&I know wins the battle. A strange old round, but if SSG make it work, they will get their 2 attacking rounds that they would have been sought after. Logic Bomb to try and maybe locate a rough idea as to where Kansan and Spiker are located. And it shouldn't be too difficult now to actually retrieve that kit. Yeah, Benja can just drop, grab it, never mind. Dead, Spiker watching it, so it's a dangerous territory. It's not just a free pickup. It has, though, been finally picked up by Newers and can get into a plant position, of which Spiker and Kansan clearly cannot look to deny. But they do get the kill onto J9.
no.
And Asher will go down on the blitz. How have they put themselves in this position? SSG were in such a commanding position this round. Down to the new man in Newers, the MVP from day 1 in a 1v2 post-plant scenario. There is a Nitrocell available for Kansan. A little bit lower on HP. Newers is certainly stuck, and he puts away the DMR, and Spiker has the quad, and Wildcard have ripped that round out of the hands of SSG.
Massive from Wildcard, and with that, putting Space Station Gaming's position at the event under immense pressure.
That could quite literally be the round that sends Space Station home. It was a 4v2 post-plant.
Well, that was what you talked about pre-match. SSG, were they the #1 team for plants at this event?
SSG are 1st for plants at this event, but they are 15th for attacker win rate.
Yeah, that's weird. I want to know what their post-plant win rate is. That's, yeah, devastating. That round should have been theirs. I mean, the beginning was very strange with the solo Faults push, but outside of that,
I mean, what was Faults doing at the start?
Yeah, the roam clear was great. Every other part of that up until the plant was amazing. But then they fumble at that final hurdle. They stumble. They fall over. Now they have to pick themselves back up in the face of a 4-round deficit to stay at the event. This is backs against the wall stuff for SSG.
And the mental aspect. You've already used your tactical timeout. You don't have that little time to reset outside of the fact that we've just switched halves. You go into the ban phase. You have, like, you know, a solid 30, 40 seconds to calm yourselves down. But 1-5 with the threat of elimination for SSG. My goodness. it's going to take something very special from these players to bring this match back.
Attackers have located a bomb.
It's Wildcard. I mean, look, to be fair, they're not the greatest attacking team. They're 18th at the tournament, 30% attacker win rate. I'm not anticipating them to be super amazing on the attack here, but you've got that buffer of the 5 rounds. You only need 1 to get to OT. So, and they, again, are already kind of playing with house money. They're not in a situation where they're getting eliminated or getting a huge amount of bullets. The pressure is all with SSG. It's a one-sided pressure game.
As army, if you want, I can let you use my formula. It might help
New
you
is
get
potentially
over
posturing for a spawn peek here.
Is not a toy that should
Warehouse entrance, impacts in pocket, but thinks better of it. How risky will SSG get here? How desperate
mine.
will they get? New is still lurking. Warehouse, by the way. Impacts, runs out, gets the kill.
Oh, wow.
Back
Okay, that's a
inside.
good way to start your defensive half, though. Be active, be aggressive, but you don't want to be overly aggressive, and Nuez knows when to fall back. Gets the pick. He's the only one that's really providing options here for SSG. So they look to open up IT. It will be successful. Nicely executed by Wildcard on that counterpoint, but they have lost Baby Shark and that Blackbeard. I mean, it goes without saying, this is a must-win round for SSG. You don't want to go 6-1 down. Have to get a couple on the board here.
Good start. IT wall opened up, however, so a point of pressure that needs to be monitored.
Exit time.
Wildcard not shying away from a duel over towards this part of the map. Spiker to delay the clear on the mine, allows that push to just be a fraction closer to maybe catch somebody in warehouse. And there it is. Perfectly timed by Wildcard. Rewarded, and it is the danger man of Nuez as well taken down.
That's the big one, isn't it? It's Nuez. If it's Fultz or Ashen, it probably doesn't really matter all that much, to be completely frank. But yeah, Nuez is the one that's going to get SSG out of this hole. Makes it a 4 versus 4. Who's going to be the one to stand up? And Ashen does fall again.
Ashen tries to retake that ground. He gets taken off the board. Benja's under a ton of pressure here. Benja needs to step up. He's had a good round so far, holding server, close IT. Alongside Jane Arno, these two really need to lock down this site.
And no Nitrocell available for Benja. He's going to have to do it with gun in hand on the warden. 60 seconds still for Wildcard to play with. Okay,
okay.
Fultz is on the board. That's 1, and it's a big one. On to Dash, and Fultz will find his second. We'll talk about timing and willing to stand up to the occasion. Fultz has done his job. He's found 2, and Benja as well. Over towards IT, gets rid of Bay.
Well, they're both
and
trapped.
SSG,
They're both trapped.
in a 2 versus 1, surely can look to take down Spiker. Yellow ping information onto the warden. You look away for a moment, and he will punish you. SSG find their second round.
I thought for a split second, Wildcard again were going to be able to pull off a very difficult position, but SSG, to their credit, Fultz steps up massive towards the mid to late round. Benja aggresses a little bit and perhaps put his team in a strange position with them both cut off late round, but
It's still
to make it
such
work.
a nerve-wracking round, though, for SSG, the way that they won it. Not super convincing. There's certainly a lot that they're going to get, work on. And Dash giving it to Ashen in the chat. But 2 huge kills from Fultz. I mean, it's not about the KD at that point. It's just the impact in the round. And when the round looked like maybe it was going to slip away again, he was able to have a huge influence. So you go down a basement now. You've won your primary site up above. And remember, the next time you do go to command server, provided we get that far, I imagine SSG will obviously ban out another hard breacher. That's going to be even harder to then take.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
And the Montang employed here for Dash. And that can be, honestly, a very strong operator when it comes to lab. I look to get first floor control, utilize the boogie auto breaches from the Ram. You've got the Deimos to clear out any roamers, of which there's a couple. 2 on the top floor right now for SSG, so they're backing themselves in to play the roam game, although Ashen has dropped and will look to reposition. Notice will stay in server for now. Of course, playing the Bandit. Shockwire batteries are down, so he can kind of lose his life and not lose a lot of utility.
Yeah,
IT has actually been reinforced and electrified as well to kind of just deny a little bit of the roam entry for Wildcard and looking to clear this out quickly. We'll slow them down slightly. But they've already got decent first floor presence over towards cafeteria anyway, so Wildcard are going to get entry regardless.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Monty picked at all in this match. Bit of blitz from Ashen, but I'm intrigued to see how much control and pressure Dash will be able to achieve in this particular round. He'll be vital for the horizontal pinch. Baby Shark
Stay close to me.
will maybe look to work a bit of vert as well with the auto breaches. Dash, meanwhile, already immediately looking to pressure over towards Exo. They could just be a threat, be some perceived pressure at the very least.
I think
that needs to be
putting
monitored.
pressure towards site's the best thing Wildcard can do here with the Montang. Try and force SSG to bring that roam back early, and somewhat working. They give up full top floor, only holding storage. Newers
Oh,
with the
that's
opening
big.
kill. Massive onto the Montang with that Nitro. Huge for Newers. And that's a big linchpin for the attack of Wildcard now off the board. They don't have the Monty to play behind.
And it means that SSG now can almost fully put their attention on contesting the vert, preventing that control, and they don't have to be as worried about Exo unlocking and then having to retake.
Newers has got all 3 of the opening kills for SSG. In fact, every opening kill in this match so far has converted into a round win. 50 seconds remaining. Still a Nitro cell for Benja as well. They are well positioned in this 8th round. Baby Shark trying to find an angle. Blocked off by the keeper barrier. Wildcard running out of time. Benja's got a wonderful angle here as well towards storage. They've really denied this storage position perfectly.
Wildcard are cooked. I mean, there's so much vert watching in towards side, and contesting that above is such a challenge. Unless Bay can pull off something pretty wild here and maybe catch a timing above, but even then.
Yeah, they've got the numbers now. They can play the trade game if they want towards the site, although Bay did get the trade onto Newers. Fultz is there for remonstration onto Baby Shark, and it's down to Bay in a 1v3. No time remaining. Does have the kit, but there should be a 3rd round on the board for SSG. And it starts to just get things rolling for them. And there's Ashen.
Well, you've got to get desperate at this point. You're spotting the tournament's on the line. You may as well bring out the shit talk now.
Raise as well there from Ashen. He's like, geez, I hope that's getting in their heads. But I mean, Wildcard are chilling. Like, Wildcard are chilling.
Yeah. Again, there's less
There's no
pressure on
pressure
them
on
in
them.
this match. And they look composed.
So 3-5 though. Again, we kind of said this was going to be, defensive onslaught for both teams, and so far that's the case. Only 1 attacking round has been successful so far. And after this round, it's going to be even more difficult for Wildcard because they're going to lose another hard breach.
Yeah, more than likely.
So if SSG win this on the tertiary, go 4-5 up, they'll go command server, there'll be 3 hard breaches off the board for Wildcard. If you give that over, it's 5-5, and then suddenly SSG have got the finish line within sight. There is a world back into this from a 5-1 deficit, facing elimination, staring down that barrel of defeat. Just got to believe, 1 round at a time mentality, and Newers is leading the charge for the Cavalry.
Interestingly enough, Dash to double down on the Monty selection here for the 9th round. Found very limited control in the prior round. A well-timed Nitro from Newers was able to find that pick, and so we'll see if it has much to offer in this round. Whilst that little monologue was taking place, Benja taking some damage in the early portion of the round. Can only assume it was an attempted spawn pick. No damage exchange though, and so Wildcard can begin preparations for the IT wall to help create avenues towards vertical, and then pressure those on site. Wall not posing too many problems, just the bandit batteries which were destroyed from down below by Bay. Wall to open up promptly in response. Warehouse to follow as well.
Yeah, and storage control was won successfully both times by Wildcard in the first half. SSG will need to match that. Final exothermic charge here from Kansan. And when you kind of look at the numbers for Wildcard, everyone's pretty much playing quite well. There's no sort of weak link in the chain. 90 seconds though, the timer factor for Wildcard. And Fultz just getting this yokai in a decent position to gain some information.
Yeah, very much centric on the site itself and surrounding areas as opposed to maybe lurking one up above, but understandably so considering the position of these defenders.
Big kill from Baby Shark does give Wildcard a slight advantage. Not yourself and Benja not able to find anything. Logic Bomb rings out. Dash makes his entry over towards Blue. Notice there's a lone deployable shield left behind as they look to take top floor control. SSG have actually given up full top floor control, Gus.
Yeah, clearly investing a little bit of utility. Ashen almost caught.
Yeah, Ashen just peeking the doorway and almost losing his life for it. Does have a Nitro Cell. He's one that needs to keep himself alive on the Warden with the Nitro. 40 seconds left. Wildcard are certainly going to start to pick up the pace now.
Wildcard with vert control, but not a lot of vertical tools, so don't know if they'll be able to gain much from those positions. Fault's to tuck himself in the corner.
SSG are anticipating a control here. They're positioned for this. A swing through the doorway. Benja goes full swing though, out to the middle of it, and they've lost Nuas too. All the numbers now with Wildcard, and it seems like they are going to be able to take this tertiary site. Ashen by himself. Well, he was yelling outside of the server. Now it's Wildcard's turn. And they have got match point, and that is SSG on the verge of elimination.
Baby Shark's been very fun to watch at this event so far. Kansan asking, play the plant from below you bots. Or maybe not questioning, maybe giving them a couple of tips.
I mean, the positioning at the end there for SSG, the wide swinging through the doorways, there's a lot of question marks in that round. And to me, it just felt like a pressure thing. They gave up full top floor control. They had no flank option, so you don't have someone that can maybe look to disrupt that. Three match points, and the Thermite has been banned out by SSG, which is certainly going to aid them on command server. The Bandit, though, in response, so no Bandit, no Kaid.
That's going to alleviate a lot of pressure here. Faults will be solely relied upon by the team to deny those walls, mute jammers, generally speaking, at least in comparison to Kaid and Bandit juggles. Will not be near as effective, provided Wildcard, and I'm very much assuming they will bring the correct utility to deal with that in the form of impact imps.
10 seconds remaining.
SSG they've had opportunities, but equally Wildcard have put them under quite a bit of pressure in numerous rounds, and SSG have capitulated. Ashen 1 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a
looking
rough
to try and get himself
Ashen
in the match, and it's been a very, very tough tournament.
The two players below Ashen is Choppy from Scars, Uno from G2, and then it's Ashen. And with the 1-7 performance here, he may actually go below them.
Yeah.
Swapping mags! Initiate jammer.
Still, this one's not over yet. Command server's got to be winnable. Make that 4-6, and then you give yourself one last rotation through the defensive sites.
You're playing command server into a triple hard breach ban, and you have Azami on the board, which bolsters the backline and makes a lot more playable positions on this side. Like, this is near perfect conditions for the defense on this side. Sure, you don't have the Kaid and the Bandit, and I understand that that does complicate things a little bit, but...
The mute jammers are helping.
Interestingly, no impact amps actually in the end here from the attack. We'll see if that causes problems. Dash maybe looking for the Habana trick instead.
Only one drone has been taken out so far, so really good drone economy from Wildcard on their attacks.
Going live.
And it seems as if this wall is going to be opened up. So, sensing a con hit from Wildcard. They've got holes towards IT if they want to use them later on, but not really enough to put too much pressure on SSG.
Clean trick on the wall, by the way. Habana top down and then the Rotero to follow, so efficient there from Wildcard.
Spiker actually has made entry over towards Rafters, so he's got presence over towards the garage side of the map, and there's no one to contest him there. So they've got a good pinch forming. I mean, Wildcard are actually getting in a really good position to hit the site from multiple different avenues. Are SSG aware of Spiker's position? Well, this one just about may be done as Bay finds the double onto Ashen and J90. They've still got Spiker in a good position as well for Wildcard. SSG are surrounded. Weltering under the pressure. And now as they've lost Benja, they've basically lost their position here at reload. Nua's in fault in a 2 versus 5, and Nua's cannot stand up, and it's flawless from Wildcard. Oh my goodness. Calm down, lads. That was an absolute beatdown. 7-3, Wildcard ascending Space Station Gaming to the nearest airport.
2 bullets reloaded for Wildcard heading into this game. That puts them on 12, sending SSG home +1. So 13 for them. Certainly not enough to qualify them at this point in time, but it sets themselves up in an intriguing position for the action tomorrow. Playing some good Siege this afternoon. How much of that is a read on SSG? How much will translate to tomorrow? It remains to be seen. But nonetheless, a good day at the office for these boys.
I mean, super impressive team performance from Wildcard. Again, not a lot on the line in this match, and it begs the question, and something that maybe later on the A stream when they kind of do the drafting, should Wildcard have used their extended mag? Because had they done so, they actually would have qualified top 4, but they didn't opt to use it against SSG, and it means that Wildcard will have to play again tomorrow, but for SSG, their time at reload is done.
Yeah. Again, I had them in my top 8 for this event. I thought SSG, a team whose storyline I think really has been just chipping away and chipping away and chipping away at international opportunities and looking to take that next big step. It feels like they've maybe taken a bit of a leap backwards at this event.
Pumped with that one, and rightfully so.
I mean, yeah, he's got a grin on his face. Again, the stakes not massive in this matchup, but I think they'll be pleased at the fashion in which they were able to win this game. They put SSG under a ton of pressure on both halves, and were able to actually capitalize upon the opportunities that they continued to present for themselves, which is always important.
I think Wildcard coming into this tournament probably didn't have a lot of favorites in terms of the expectations, but they've been able to honestly do a really good job to put themselves in a good position for day 5. I wonder if they'll be kicking themselves now that they didn't use the extended mag, but that's obviously with hindsight, right? So you and at the end of the day, you don't know going into today what the other teams are doing until the very beginning of the day.
They
so
didn't know exactly what that threshold was going to be. They also probably expected a little bit more from SSG, wanted to play it safe.
It's safer for them to have used it tomorrow, so I understand their thinking. For SSG, obviously they had no choice. It was, you know, go win or go home, but where to for SSG from here? They started the tournament so well. I was really hyped for them on day 1. I thought, geez, they played incredibly well. Nua's got the MVP. Huge addition to this roster, and I felt like that maybe he could have been a missing piece, but in the end, just it kind of faded out pretty quickly after day 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's never fair to attribute a performance at an event on a single player, but it has to be highlighted. Ashen, unfortunately, as you kind of preface, may go down as the worst performing player at this event, which is insane to think about. Ironically, the player that kept them in the event by winning the 1 versus 1 as well. So pretty mind-blowing from that perspective. Hopefully these boys can reset for NAL.
We are done for the B stream here. We're going to throw you over to the A stream. It's FaZe versus Fnatic.